so broke within 2 years, you will not be able to rebel against the elite. Now, you see, there's so many facets to this whole thing, and I'm going to bring them out in this third DVD because I have to say a lot of things today. Now, believe me, I have so much yet left to say that is going to startle you. It's going to be dumbfounding. You're going to be shaking in your shoes by the time you finish this third DVD because I have to bring in everything else that this man said and try to put the ramifications of it if I can. Gasoline, here's another one that he said. He said, gasoline will remain the price it is now. Truckers, enjoy it. Keep filling up that tank, you motorhomers. I mean, enjoy this nation. Go to every national park you can. Do everything you can to see this country while you can, because gasoline will remain the price it is right now at the gas pump until we have war. He said this.
Yes.
He said when war breaks out, you're going to be paying $4 to $10 a gallon overnight.
Wow.
I mean, now, folks, I'm telling you what the elite have planned. And as I mentioned in my second DVD, I think it was the last one we did, yes, number 2, I said, you may have trouble comprehending some of these things, but if you do, just stick around a while. Because 2 years is not too long. Even at my age, I have full intentions of being around another many years, way past 2 years. Then he said, and this stands to reason too, if we're headed for war in the Middle East and will spread to the whole world, this stands to reason also. He said gold and silver will be the only thing that will be of true value. Now, at time of war, currencies fluctuate something horrible. Some currencies disappear, especially the countries that are in the middle of war, like they did in Germany, where you take a wheelbarrow load of German marks to the grocery store in order to buy a loaf of bread. Other countries increased in value. Switzerland did great because that's where Hitler had his money stored, and so Switzerland got by quite well. You see, currencies fluctuate, and the currency of the elite is gold and silver. They don't pay attention to paper. Paper means nothing to them. They laugh at paper. The elite have taken away our jobs. They've moved them abroad. Yes. I gave the figures on yesterday. Yes. The elite have moved them abroad. If you don't believe they've taken our jobs abroad, call the airline or call the credit card company. And when the person comes on the line on the other end with that little brogue that you'll hear, say, by the way, what country am I talking to? There's no such thing as talking to an American anymore. And folks, you still fly the airlines and you still use the credit cards. What's wrong with you? I mean, when all of the Americans are moved abroad, all of the jobs are moved outside of this country, our automobile manufacturing, everything else eventually moving out of America, and when it's all moved out, how are you going to have enough money to pay for anything? So here we are, sitting, the elite have moved our jobs, and you still fly the airlines, you still use the credit card. Not me. I quit. As of 3 months ago, I quit using my credit card. Except in an emergency where I have to run an automobile and they won't let me have one without it, or something like that. I do not use a credit card anymore. I am sick and tired of hearing somebody in some other country trying to tell me my airline schedule. You know, it's so sickening what they have done to us. They have you right where they want you. The elite have finally given us enough baseball and apple pie and beer. I don't drink the beer, but that they have the average American right where they want it. 61,000 manufacturing jobs were lost in 1 month in the United States of America because the elite have moved our manufacturing outside of the country. Then I must meddle a while. I'm one. I've been one for 50 years, so I can talk about them. Pastors and churches, you have been bound. You cannot say one word. You can't say a word about the president. You can't say a word about the congressman. You can't say anything about the, well, I won't talk about those people. I think the Bible is very plain about what God thought about Sodom and Gomorrah. You can't say a thing for 501c3. You'd be discriminating, and they could put you right in jail. A talk show host can say more, can to preach better sermons than the average preacher today because of 501c3, and the talk show host is still free to say what he wants to. And then they came down to Homeland Security. Oh, I attended a seminar the other day. It just broke my heart almost, where a pastor stood up and told about the meeting that he had been invited to by Homeland Security, and he attended in order to see what they had to say. And at the meeting, they informed the pastors that Homeland Security would like to request of the pastors that they be able to advise their congregations to be obedient to whatever orders were given by Homeland Security in the case of a national disaster.
They're preparing.
Then I attended a church after that in which the pastor gave out the form to his congregation and asked, I was in the church, I have the form in my files, of where the pastor asked every member of the congregation to fill out this form telling them everything, from how many bathrooms they have in the house, to where they work, to what their email address is, every detail about them from beginning to end, and I saw right through it because I just attended that seminar, and I could see Homeland Security written all over it.
That's right.
And pastors, you'll have it in your files, and they'll knock on your door, and they'll say, 501c3, you've got to give us everything we want. You have no
right.
choice. You've bowed to us. And they'll tell you the day that you can no longer tell people they need to be born again in order to get to heaven either.
That's right.
That's in the works. You mark my words. There'll be a day that they'll say it's discrimination if you stand up and say, if you don't trust Jesus Christ as your Savior, you're in jeopardy eternally. They'll someday say you pastors can't say that. You can say it right now, but it won't be very long. For the past 35 years, everything that the elite have told me, I have voiced it to the American public. It has happened. Not one single thing has failed to happen. They said $147 a barrel is going to $50. It took place. People said, you're crazy. It happened. Exactly like they said. And then they came along to a president. They said, Mr. McCain is our man. They didn't get him because they aren't divine. They're pretty close to it, they think, but they aren't. There's only one hope for America. Only one. And that's what I'm coming down to today. I'm going to try to outline it in a very unusual manner. There is positively one hope for America, and that is divine intervention, because the people are not going to rise up against the elite. I have come to the conclusion that the elite have so deadened the mind of the average American that they will not take action. They will continue to allow the dollar to deteriorate. They will continue to allow the elite to totally control every facet of their lives, their churches, their bank accounts, their Social Security, every part of their life, their health care program. They will continue to give it all over to the elite and will never rise up.
That's right.
Why? They've become too accustomed to having no freedom left. And I have come to the conclusion that there is only one solution for America. And I think it was put the best I've ever heard it by Alexis de Tocqueville. He was a Frenchman, very famous author. Just after the Constitution was written and America became a nation, and de Tocqueville said, I cannot understand why America has become so great. And he said, I'm going to travel to America and try to find out. And he later wrote a book. And I'd like to read you just one paragraph from it. I sought for the greatness and genius in America in her commodious harbors and her ample rivers, and it was not there. In her fertile fields and boundless prairies, and it was not there. In her rich mines and her vast world of commerce, and it was not there. Not until I went to the churches of America.
That's right.
And heard her pulpits aflame. You bunch of little panty-waist preachers. I'm talking about myself. You've lost your backbone. You haven't got enough gumption to stand up and tell people what they are anymore. You won't talk about